footballing journey was at a boys team called Westfield Colts. Boys can be a little bit faster and stronger than you, so I like to, when I was a younger player, I like to get stuck in as well. Once you got to like 13, you weren't allowed to participate in boys football anymore. You had to go into the girls setup, so I was there until I was about 12, and obviously then I kicked off my career eventually at Falkirk with the full women's setup. There wasn't as many role models as there is now for women's footballers. There was always the typical ones like your Julie Fleetons and your Kim Littles. I looked up to them a lot when I was younger. That's the kind of players that I could see in my pathway at that time, but now you look at women's football now, there's so many role models across the country. Which is fantastic for the women's game. From the boys' point of view, I would probably say Michael Moles from Rangers, one of my favourite players when I was growing up.
Very early in your career you were called up to the Scotland under-15s. What do you remember about that?
Terrified. I remember it was my first trip, and the trials were at McDermott Park in Perth, and I didn't think I was in the squad, so I remember heading back to my car at my mum and dad at the time, and one of the coaches ran back up and got from the car park and was like, "Nick, you're in." I was like, "What? Really?" I genuinely couldn't believe it. So that was a pinch me moment, and I remember turning up at the airport because it was an away trip, if I remember correctly, and I was standing myself, and it was the really baggy Scotland tracksuit, because back then we didn't really have our own clothes. It was borrowed from the men's side. So I was drowned in this tracksuit, and I remember it's actually a really nice memory because Jenny Beattie doesn't actually remember it, but she was the one player that came and got me to be like, "Come on, like, you're in the squad now," and she took me in to see the rest of the girls, and yeah, really, like, it was a great trip.
A few years later you represented Scotland at the under-19 Women's Euros in 2010. What was that like as an experience for you?
Yeah, I've always said this, like, 19s is one of my favourite memories. It was just great as players that you've grown up with from your age group for many years, and to then go to like your first major tournament with the 19s, it was brilliant. I'm pretty sure we got a tough group when we were there, but like I said, it was an amazing experience for us as young players to have a little taste of a major tournament.
And I'm right in saying in the same year you signed for Rangers, didn't you?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah. So I was at Falkirk for a few years, and then I got scouted to go to Rangers. That was a dream come true for me. I was supported the club since I was a young kid, so to go to the Rangers and obviously go to the training centre and stuff, it was a pinch me moment.
Any nerves at all? Were you nervous at that?
Yeah, of course. People probably don't think that I get nervous very often because I don't really show it, but definitely inside there was a little bit of nerves there because it was obviously taking that extra step in my career. I was really thankful to Falkirk at the time for everything they'd done for me. One of my first coaches was Alison Mackey and Shirley Martin, who I see regularly now. They obviously started my career, but then it was just to take that next level.
You weren't at Rangers for long though, because you moved to Glasgow City, a period of great success for you. Glasgow
City were seen as the dominant force in women's football for a number of years, and Eddie Vilecki Black tried to get me to go the year before, but I said no because my roots remained with Rangers. But then I spoke to my dad, and he was like, "Nick, if you want to take the next step in your career, you're going to need to push yourself and take that next jump." So Glasgow City was that next part for me, and yeah, we were very successful when I was there. 8 league titles and Scottish Cups and League Cups and quarterfinals of the Champions League, so it was definitely a really successful time in my career.
Do you have any fond memories, maybe a pick-out moment that you remember from your time during that?
Probably when we beat Brøndby at Petershill, and just the way that we did it, and I think it was penalties as well, and it was an unbelievable night. Petershill was absolutely packed, and yeah, we did it, and we made it to quarterfinals where we went to go on to then play PSG. The club had done so much for me. I became a better player, a better person when I went to Glasgow City, but I felt Rangers coming in and the way that they were going full time, everything that they wanted the club to do, we just felt so aligned. So I felt like it was an offer that I couldn't turn down. There's been many highs, there's been many lows. We obviously won the league title for the first time, which was incredible. We've won Scottish Cups and Sky Sports Cups, which is nice. But yeah, I think there's still a lot more to come from us. The setup that Rangers have given us in terms of training at the training centre, the full-time professional environment, it's been amazing so far, but there's more to come.
Internationally, is there any standout moments that you've had over your career that have really stood out for you?
Club and country, there's obviously going to be many highs and many lows in football, and there certainly has been that at the national team, but the highs for me overtake some of the lows, because the way that we did it to get to the World Cup, probably one of the ultimate feelings that I've had in football is going to the World Cup to represent my country. It was unbelievable. I still get goosebumps talking about it. Of course it was disappointing the way that we left the tournament, but to make it was incredible. Other moments in terms of reaching 50 caps for my country is probably one that I didn't think I would ever come, but it has, and obviously scoring against Australia. So they're my moments.
Let's talk about that goal against Australia, because of course we were going to put it in this video. What was it like in that moment, looking back on it? You know, you look up, you just hit it. Next thing it's in the back of the net.
It was unbelievable. I think when you look back that game, I thought we were actually excellent that day. That was a team that was going to be going to a major tournament, probably a team that people thought that we weren't going to be able to beat. But look, we've had a great run of form with the national team currently, and that day was a really good day because do you know what? We actually played really well. And if you watch back the video, as soon as I cut in, Caroline Weir puts her hands up as if to be like, give me the ball, because she can obviously find the net better than I can. But I thought, do you know what? I'm going to have a crack here. And I did, and yeah, went in the back of the net.
Looking ahead with the Scotland women's team, there's a European qualifier playoff final against Finland. What sort of challenge do they pose? Yeah,
we've obviously played Finland a couple of times recently. One was, it went to penalties in a friendly, and then one that we obviously won. So we know that it's going to be a difficult match, and no playoff games are ever going to be easy. So we know that we need to be at our absolute best if we want to come out on top. It's playoff games, so we're going to have to be at our best. So look, we'll be going to that game with confidence, because I feel like we have been on good form recently, but you need to earn the right to be at major tournaments, so that's something that we'll be looking to do.
What one thing would you like Nicola Docherty to be remembered for?
I don't know, I just want to feel like I have left women's football in a better place. I feel like I want to make sure that there's things put in place, so just a happy place for kids to grow up and be like, do you know what? The girls that have been here before me have paved the way, and I just want to be remembered for being a good person.